this is Captain. Welcome to the operations tutorial for the PAT 654 mining loader. This was built for Alistair's mining challenge. This is going to be a quick little video to get you all started on this vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we are. So we're currently at Brain's Train Yard. Chosen this area to kind of demonstrate the vehicle for a couple of reasons. This allows you to spawn it in these train hangars. So this vehicle is narrow enough. There was a size constraint with the challenge, and with this I was also able to get it into the train hangars. So you can use it by the coal mine, you can use it here, you can use it anywhere. You can spawn it in a train hangar, so that's very convenient. You can also spawn it, of course, in larger bases. The other nice thing about Brains here is that you have a bunch of ore here, so you can go ahead and test and play in this area. So looking at the vehicle in the editor here, it's going to cost you $42,006. It's a nice small price there. It's going to allow you to get using this in your career games pretty early. I didn't want the price to be so high that you're not going to be able to start mining right away. This is a good starting vehicle for mining. You really only need this and some sort of dump truck or trailer, and you're going to be able to start mining right away. The mass shows only 2338. It does have a rocket motor with added mass on there. This is going to give it a nice low center of gravity. It's going to make it much less likely to tip over. You still have to be an operator, though. If you start driving around with your bucket up really high, especially when it's full of ore, just like a real front-end loader, you're going to tip over. So you got to be careful with that. You want to slow down. You want to keep your bucket nice and low, just as you would in real life. Aim to make this as realistic as possible. So there's a bunch of realism features in this, and we'll go over that in this video. So let's go ahead and spawn this up. So as you can see, spawns the train hangar nicely. Let's take a quick walk around here. As you can see, I've got my paint job on there, my brand, and the model number here. We got a bunch of lights that we'll go over that work. You can enter the vehicle from either side. We have our bucket with our hidden drilling system and dumping system. Again, I wanted this to look realistic. I didn't want it to be a drill stuck on the end of a front-end loader. It just didn't look realistic to me. So let's go ahead and jump in. So we'll go up the ladder, and we can open the door. And the first thing you'll notice is there's a dinging noise. What this dinging noise is telling you is that you have the door open with the parking brake off. And so there's a safety feature so that if you get out of your seat and you have the doors open, just like you might notice in your car, if you open the door, it's going to ding to tell you, hey, set the parking brake so that you don't roll the vehicle away. So just a safety feature. So again, if we open the door, it's going to ding. All we have to do is press the space bar. We can look on the H menu. Space bar is park brake, and that noise goes off. You'll also notice the other thing here is with the doors open, we get dome lights. There's also a light underneath so that at night this will illuminate the cab. Sometimes in game it gets really, really dark at night and you're not going to be able to see inside your vehicle very well to operate. If you turn on the dome light, that's going to stop it. So the dome light will come on when you have the doors open, and it will go out when the doors close. Also, if you press the 5 key, those dome lights will come back on. So you can use those dome lights. Let's go over all of the gauges in here. So we have the engine temperature in degrees Celsius, RPM, we have volts. The voltmeter is going to show you a negative number if you're discharging, if you're losing electricity, and a positive number if you're charging, gaining electricity. That's it. Fuel we have in gallons, 429 gallons. This gives it a nice time you can play it before you have to refill it. I'll talk about some of the other features that help keep this fuel efficient, but you should be able to get maybe 5 or 6 loads at least before you need to refuel. Refueling is an important part of the game as far as I'm concerned. It kind of makes you make some choices. You know, we've done some multiplayer mining that's really fun where you bring out a little refueling truck and somebody refuels the vehicles periodically. So I think that adds some good gameplay. We have a speedometer here in miles per hour. We have a gear indicator. We'll show you what gear you're in. There's a couple ways to shift gears. One, you can use this upshift. You can use that downshift. Or you can use the 1 or 2 key. If you look on the H menu there, 1 is shift up, 2 is shift down. You'll also see in a second we have a parking brake indicator. This will be lit up if the parking brake's on and the ignition is on. So let's go ahead and turn the ignition on, and we'll get started. So as you see, it lights up the backlight for the gear indicator, and because the parking brake's on, we've got a red light telling us, hey, the parking brake's on. Now, if you're trying to shift gears and the parking brake on, it will not allow you to do it. So right now, we can press the 1 and 2 keys, and nothing happens. So when the parking brake is on, you cannot shift gears. You also notice, cannot shift gears with the parking brake on. So that's a feature to keep you from driving with that parking brake on. So it just puts it right in neutral. Going over that H menu again, we have AD is steering, WS is acceleration and brake. Left, right is going to tilt the bucket in and out. Up, down is going to bring the arms up and down. Space is the parking brake. 1 is shift up, 2 is shift down, and 5 is the dome light. All right, so first thing we'll do here is we'll remove the parking brake. Again, you can't shift gears without it. We'll go 2 to go down into reverse. That will give you a negative symbol telling you you're going backwards. If we go ahead, one thing you'll notice, we have a backup alarm. That backup alarm will go off. We also have reverse lights there that come on. So we're in reverse. We'll press up and we'll go back into neutral. The next thing we'll do is we'll turn our headlights. As you can see, we have headlights above, and we also have headlights below. This is often found on loaders because the bucket is going to obscure some of the lights. So when the bucket is, for example, right in front of these lights, those lights will still shine on the road. When the bucket is all the way down, the upper ones will shine over the bucket and give you some illumination. We can also go down here and we have high beams. If you press the high beams, they tilt up, and normally they're tilted down. You also have the hazard lights. This does the cherries on top. It flashes the indicators, as you can see there. We also have side indicators there, and we have indicators right here on the front, so you can see them as you're going down the road there. So those are all our indicators. We also have 3 and 4, so let's go ahead and shut the hazards off. 3 is going to be a left turn if you want to use your indicators on the road, and 4 is going to be a right turn. So those are your indicators there. We also have some marker lights there in the center. Our work lights, it's a multi-function switch. So if you push the switch once, you're going to get front work lights, those top lights there. If you push it again, you're going to get front and rear work lights. If you push it one more time, you're going to get just rear work lights, and then one more time is off. So it's going to be front, front, rear, rear, off. So it's a multi-function switch. All right, so we're pretty much ready to get going here. So first thing we're going to do, just as we would do IRL, is we're going to lift up our bucket. So we're going to push the up arrow, and we're going to tilt our bucket back. Now this is going to be important. If you have some ore in your bucket and the bucket is tilted down, just like in real life, it's based on gravity. So if you're going downhill and the bucket is not tilted back enough, you're going to spill stuff out of your bucket. So when you're going downhill especially, you need to make sure you tilt your bucket back. And when you're going uphill, you don't have to tilt your bucket back as much because it's based on the horizon. So let's go ahead and get moving here. So parking brake is off. We can shift into first gear. Now, manual transmission, there's a number of reasons why I chose manual transmission, why I like it, and why I recommend it. When you're in first gear, you're limited by your RPS. So we have a max RPS on this. And based on the gearing, first gear is going to give us up to a maximum speed. So this is kind of your speed control. So first gear, you're only going to be able to go so fast. Second gear, you're going to be able to go a little faster. Third, fourth, and fifth, even faster. So this allows you to control your speed. Now also, the gearing is important for the drill that's hidden away in the bucket. If you're in first or second gear, you're going to be able to drill. This is more realistic because you wouldn't be drilling in going very fast. You'd break stuff. And it also, it's going to be counterintuitive for some people. They're going to want to drill really, really fast. Well, it's faster to go slow to drill because if you think about it, right, you have a small patch of ore. If you are going super fast over that ore, you don't have much time on the patch. So if you're going slow in first gear, which is going to be your best gear for drilling, you're going to spend the longest amount of time drilling on the patch. This is also more realistic, right? You can't use this bucket backwards, and you don't want to be going super fast. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about this. So first and second is our drill. So you'll hear the drill going. It has that distinctive sound. If you look, we're limited to, as you can see here, around 5-something miles per hour. Now, with these large vehicles, IRL and in-game, it's best to go slow. You'll hear the drill going. If you look, we're burning a lot of fuel. You can also drill in second gear, so I'll press the 1 key and go up a gear, and as you can see, we're going faster. We're going 6.3 miles an hour now. Still burn a lot of fuel. If we go into third gear, you'll hear the drill stops moving, and that's going to be your indication of a number of things. If you hear the drill stop, you're either in first or second gear or stopped, or your bucket is full. That's how you're going to know your bucket's full. Now we can go in third gear. As you can see, we do about 11 miles an hour in third. Fourth gear, we do about 13 miles an hour. And fifth gear, we're up around 16.6 miles an hour. You don't want this to go super fast. This is how you would tip something over in real life. IRL, they don't have a lot of suspension. It's a big, heavy vehicle. You want to be able to stop. To stop, we just press the S key, and it will activate the brakes. All right. You want to shift back down in a low gear like you would in real life. So let's go ahead and start doing some drilling here. So you want to have the bucket close to the ground just like you would in real life. Now, you don't have to tilt it. I was thinking of putting that in, but that might be a little bit too much realism for people. So let's go into third gear, and now we're moving quickly towards our ore. Now, remember how I said you're actually going to drill more quickly going slow because you spend more time on the patch. So we're going to lower our bucket. And I'm going to shift down 2 gears to first. Now the drill's going to activate. Now you hear we're drilling. Because I'm going slow, I have more time to drill on that patch. I'm going to tilt the bucket up. You don't have to, but you can. And I'm going to shift up a couple gears. Now the drill shuts off. I'm going to do 2 more gears down, and we're drilling again. And as you can see, we're drilling. All right. 1, 2, shift up gears. Drill shuts off. Drill's back on. So this is simulating how a loader would work in real life. You know, you would have to put your bucket down. You would have to slow down to drill. You can't just be driving like a maniac. You know, I have other drilling vehicles that sit on the patch and just drill that one patch. This one is a little bit different. This one is more, acts like a real loader would. You actually just drive over the patch, scoop some up in each pass. You have to do multiple passes. All right. So this is how you're going to want to drill with this. Now, let's show you something. All right. So we're going to sit on this hill here. As you notice, we're clearly going downhill. Just like in real life, when you're going downhill, you need to tip your bucket back. So you can see the bucket is tilted all the way back. If we don't tilt our bucket back, we are going to spill out of the bucket. So watch what happens if I accidentally tilt the bucket down too much. Oh, it spills out of the bucket. So you got to make sure that, especially when you're going downhill, right, that the bucket is tilted back all the way, or else you could spill. As soon as you go down a steep enough hill, it's going to tilt out no matter what, because just like gravity, right, if you were to dump something beyond the horizon, it's going to roll out. It's going to want to fall out of your bucket. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure when you're going downhill, you tilt your bucket all the way back. This might seem annoying or like too much stuff to do, but this is what makes operating a vehicle kind of fun in real life. This is the kind of stuff we had to do when we were really operating front-end loaders is, we're going downhill, tilt your bucket back. You got to do these things. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll shift back into first gear and we'll drill. Now, your capacity of your bucket is going to be 108 units of ore. All right. Once you hit 108 units of ore, it's going to automatically shut off the drill. And this is going to be how you know that you're full. You want to drive around until you can hear that drill stop. Now, you're going to be able to hear it. You're also going to realize that in first gear, you're going faster because you have less resistance from the drill. So again, I recommend drilling in first gear. You can do it in second, but all you're going to do is it's going to take you longer in the long run to do it. I added that so that people really want to drill faster they can at a speed. All right, we're going downhill. We're going to tip that bucket back or else we're going to spill. All right, you can hear that drill disconnect. We're in third gear. We're back into first. You can hear that drill firing up. We're going to click up 2 gears. We're in third. We're going fast over to the patch. Slow back down. We're drilling again. The longer we stay in the patch, the more drilling we can do. Now, you can't drill stationarily. You have to stationary. You have to move. You cannot sit still. And that's just like in a real front-end loader. If you're not pushing forward, you're not scooping anything. And so you can't cheese this. You got to operate it like a real vehicle. All right, back into first. And we're drilling again. All right, now you hear the revs went up. Right, the RPM went up. And the speed went up. All right. And we're in first gear, right? So we're in first gear. The speed went from 5 to 7, and the RPM went from like 6 to 8. That tells you, guess what? Your bucket is full. That's how you're going to tell your bucket is full. I'm not doing some cheesy light or anything like that. That's how you tell your bucket's full. And just like a real operator, you kind of get an experience about when your bucket's full, when it's time to dump. So you notice parking brake's on. I press the space bar. It puts us into neutral. Let's go ahead and jump out. And we'll actually check the capacity. So right now, 108. As soon as you have 108 in your bucket, it is time to empty. So let's go ahead. I'll bring in another vehicle and I'll show you how easy it is to dump. All right, so I brought in my Macar dump truck. This is on the workshop already. The height is a pretty standard, road truck height. I want to make an articulated dump truck as well to kind of go with this. I'd also like to make a bigger loader using all the systems from this one. So the other thing too, notice what we're doing here. If you have your bucket all the way up and you're turning, it is very tippy. That's how it is in real life. You have to keep your bucket really low when you're driving with a full weight in there, and the ore does weigh something in game. So as we're coming up, you can use third person if you want, but you can also kind of use some tricks of the trade to kind of see where you are. You can use the shadow of the bucket on the truck, so we just slowly drive. And there's another reason why I prefer a manual transmission for this. Is in first gear it's going to limit you to a certain speed, and so you can just kind of tap it and you can move nice and slow and to get where you want to be. So now the ore is going to come out of the bucket based on if the bucket is below the horizon. So as soon as the bucket gets below the horizon, it's going to tip, because that's how it would do it in real life, right? If you tip it beyond the horizon, it's going to tip out. So we just go ahead, tip the bucket, it's below the horizon, and there it's going to dump. So for example, if you're trying to dump uphill into a dump truck, you may never be able to tip below the horizon. You need to either be on flat ground or you need to be, going downhill to be able to tip into a truck. You notice it's very quick. It's very quick to empty. Let's go ahead. We'll jump out. We'll look in there. You can see the full 108 is in the back of the truck. And there it is. 108's in there. And if you notice, we have none showing in there. We can't see any ore in there. All right, so that's good there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fuel in here really quickly. So we just did one drilling session. We filled one bucket. We were at about 430 gallons of fuel. We're down now to 388. So we've used, let's say, 45 gallons of fuel for one trip. So we get quite a few trips in this before we need to refuel. I don't want it super duper ultra fuel efficient where you never need to refuel. That makes it so that it doesn't cost you anything to mine. You have a couple ways to refuel. You can refuel from this port or this port. Either one works just fine. So you can refuel your vehicle from either of those hose anchors there. That's how you refuel the vehicle. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It's pretty simple to operate. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.